Today we're going to be talking about sharing memories to FamilySearch.org. So when we talk about working with memories in FamilySearch, we're not talking about memories and like, oh, that was a lovely memory. We're talking about sharing photos. It's a specific task when you're working with the FamilySearch website. So today what I want to do is share this picture of my grandmother. This is her when she was, I'm going to guess, probably 4 or 5 years old. And she is a very amazing 96 right now, heading very close to her 97th birthday. So this is really cool to be able to look back at pictures of her when she was very young. And I want to share this as a memory on FamilySearch. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the metadata we have in here. And we can add a little bit more information to make this a richer piece for our archive. So the first thing I want to look at here is the timestamp. Well, obviously this wasn't taken in 2022. My grandma, let's go ahead and take a look over here really quick. I'm going to click on her face tag and say show photos. I have her birthday in here. She was born in 1927. So if I switch back to that picture and I think, okay, she's probably 4 or 5 years old. This was probably taken in the early 1930s. So what I can do is go here to the date, and I'm going to just go ahead and choose a decade because I don't have that much more information. I probably should just ask her. And I'm going to go back here and I'm going to say 1930s and save. And now I've added a little bit more context to this image. If I had a title or a description, I could certainly add those as well. So if you know a bit about the story of how this happened, where this was taken, the circumstances surrounding it, that's a great place to add the title and description. You can also put in a more descriptive file name. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So I'm going to say Doris, 1930s. I can type and just let's put -01. So I like to put room at the end for a sequence. That way I don't end up with duplicate file names and accidentally overwrite something. So I'll put the 01, hit return, and that's going to go ahead and take a moment, but it's going to save that file name to something more descriptive. Now, if we go ahead and scroll down, we don't have any location information for this. And I know that my grandma was born and raised, spent most of her childhood in Chicago. So I'd like to go ahead and add that information to this particular photo. Now you can go ahead and type in information here in these fields when you're in single photo view. But if you want the convenience of just dragging a photo onto the map, we need to take a step back to the grid. So let's go here. There you can see my picture is still selected. And then I can scroll down and just type in Chicago. So there we go. That pulled up Chicago, Illinois. And I can go ahead and zoom in. Now, I don't have the exact address where she grew up handy. I probably could look that up in some of my records. So if you have the exact address, you can certainly use that. But in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and grab that photo and drag it onto the map. And you can go ahead and, while this pin is dancing, you see how it's a little jiggly right there? You can drag and adjust that placement. And when you're ready, go ahead and just click the check mark. So that went ahead and added all of this place information here. Now, this wasn't taken particularly at South Ashland Avenue, so I'm going to go ahead and click into that. And click that one more time. There we go. And I'm just going to delete that address. Click Save. And what that's going to do is just update that location shown to simply Chicago, Illinois, which I think is a much better description for this particular image rather than some random address that has no affiliation with this image. Now, if we go ahead and click back to this image, we already have my grandma tagged. And we've got the date corrected. If we wanted to, we could put that title and description. So we've got a good amount of information here. The next thing we want to do is add this to FamilySearch.org as a memory. So before I do that, what I want to do is jump back over to show photos of my grandma. So I'm clicking on her face tag here and show photos. And I want to connect her profile to FamilySearch. So if you have the FamilySearch website open, you can just copy and paste the FamilySearch ID right here into Mylio, or you can click on choose FamilySearch Contact. And what that's going to do is log you in to the FamilySearch website. And I'm signed in now. And what that's going to do is pull in the names of most of the people in my family tree that are direct related. So give that a second here, and I can go ahead and just scroll down and find my grandmother. So there she is, Doris Cammonson, and choose continue. And you'll see that that automatically logged in her FamilySearch ID. It did bring in her birthday, which I already had in there. So if you end up with duplicate information, you can always just click on that pencil and delete one of those. One of the things that I really like about what Mylio does as you import information about a person is it's not going to overwrite anything. What it's going to do is just add another field, and then you can go in later and clean that up if you end up with duplicate information, or if something is incorrect, again, you can just delete it. We can see that if we go in here to relationships, it actually pulled in a lot of relationships from FamilySearch, which is cool. But now that we have that FamilySearch ID in there, if we go back to that same photo that we were working on, and we click here, post memories to FamilySearch, when I post this memory, it's going to automatically attach it to her profile on familysearch.org. So let me go ahead and do that. Again, you can type in a description here if you want to add some additional information, and then click post. Now, let me go ahead and open up a browser. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and go to the FamilySearch website and sign in. Give me a second here to go ahead and get myself put back in here. All right, and from here I can go to Family Tree, go to my tree, and then locate my grandmother. So she is right back over here. I can click on her name, person, and then this is going to pull up all of her information, and I can click over here to memories, and we can see that that image that I just uploaded is being processed. Now, this can happen sometimes very quickly. Sometimes it takes a few minutes. The reason for that is FamilySearch is actually putting a person is looking at every image that's uploaded to make sure that these are family friendly, acceptable, archival images to be posted on their website. So they do an actual check, and that's why that takes sometimes a few minutes. Once that's done, let me go ahead and click on this other one. We can go ahead and see some of the information that is brought over. So here's the people who are tagged. These are actually both of my grandmothers from my mother's and my father's side. And my mom actually is the one that contributed this image. And if she had put this information into Mylio, it would have the event date, place, and description already in there. Let's go ahead and go back. So that one's still being processed. Hopefully it'll come back and we can check on that here in a minute. And I can show you exactly how that pops up. But that's it. Sharing memories from Mylio to FamilySearch is very rewarding, very easy. And it does a couple of things. One, it forces you to go through some of these pictures and add some extra pertinent information and maybe do a little bit of research. It makes your own personal archive a little bit more rich. Then by going through and adding this to FamilySearch, this puts it into a public archive. So everything that you post to FamilySearch, if it's about a deceased person, those are public record. My grandma is still living, so this is private to me, and only me and anybody I've shared my tree with can see it, but it's not out there in public record. So that's something to keep in mind. And then also when you go ahead and add that FamilySearch ID to Mylio, nothing of yours is uploaded. The only time anything's uploaded to FamilySearch is when you click this post memories, and that's only if you want to. So that's it. Let me take a look at the chat and see if we've got any questions. Looks like Lori's been posting some links. Excellent, thank you. I'd like to open up the floor, and if anybody has questions, this is a great time to ask.
Angela, you have such an impressive family tree set up. That's great.
You know, FamilySearch did so much of the work for me. It's really incredible. Let me go ahead and go back to my tree. I can go back, especially here on like my maternal side, and it just goes back and back and back. I think I'm going back to like the 15 or 1600s in Scotland, and it's just amazing to me. And so much of this information was already there. I didn't like once I added in my immediate relatives, other people have done most of this research, and it's incredible. So yeah, going back on my Campbell side of the family, there we go. 1664, 1687. Yep. Back to Falkirk,
Wow.
Scotland. Pretty cool.
That is very cool.
All right.
Looks like Gloria and Dana have questions for you.
I see that. All right. So Gloria, so do you have to set anything to show only deceased people from your family tree with are not living, or is that the default? That is the default, and that's actually FamilySearch's policy. So when you upload things to FamilySearch, anything about somebody who's living is only in your tree. Nobody else can see that except for Like I've got my mom can see a few things. Like we did a couple of settings to where we can see stuff that we've added that we have in common. But in general, nobody else can see that except for you. So there's nothing you have to do, and then you can't change that either. So that's just something to know about FamilySearch. And then Dana says, if the person is not a direct ancestor, can you add other people from your family using their ID? So you can definitely copy and paste that ID into Mylio, absolutely. And then that should connect when you save that memory to FamilySearch, even if they're not in your direct line. All right, any other questions? Darren, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, thanks, Angela. Thank you. Good presentation. I want to go back to the beginning, but when you change a fuzzy date or you changed it to the decade for your grandmother, does that alter the original date? Can you undo that and it goes back to that original date stamp?
So if you go, I don't think you can undo it specifically in Mylio, but if you look at the date that's embedded in the original file or the XMP that's related to that file, there is an original date field. I forget exactly what the verbiage is, but that date is preserved in the metadata.
Okay, it is. Okay, that's good then. Yeah, I just wondered because I was like, if I change, I've been changing some dates during like you were, and I was like, oh, I actually want that date that was in there, but how do I record that as a note further down? I'm not sure, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, I noticed when I scroll down that vertical bar on the right, whenever I hit the map view, it just starts zooming in the map. It zooms in. Can you undo that zoom?
So you can, I mean, there's zoom buttons right here on this, so you can go ahead and zoom back
Yes.
out of that. That is a bug that is addressed to be fixed. I think it's still a couple of sprints out, so it should be later
Okay.
this year. I actually just talked to Rich about that yesterday, and it's like, this is really annoying. Can we fix this? And he's like, yes, we already know.
Yeah, I've just on a year since I've been using Mylio and very happy, of course, as you know, because I join you a lot. But yeah, that has been a bugbear for me because I zoom down the side, so I have to move it slightly to the left or the right so I can continue to zoom. But no,
Yep.
that's good. That's fine. So thanks for letting me get all these questions in. Then back to Family Tree. I started using it a few years back as well. Couldn't figure out how to connect with family members that are living that have also added content, but I think that's now a lot more easier to do. I was looking when I did this very thing that you just did when I did it a few weeks ago. I think it offered me to connect with another family member that had commented or put something in there. So yeah, that's real helpful. I found the issue where you can't show living people out there, which is fair enough too.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a reasonable fail safe, and especially in today's privacy climate that,
Yeah.
we want to pay attention to that. But at the same time, sometimes it's like, oh, I'd rather be able to share this, but I
Yeah.
guess that's what Facebook or something's for.
And all I did yesterday was screenshotted something for a cousin, a relative that wanted the family tree view of our great grandparents. So yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Angela.
My pleasure.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Yeah. Who's going to Roots Tech at the end of this month? Is
That's a
anybody
great
gonna be at
question.
Roots Tech? Angela's going to be there.
Yep, I'll be there. Susan, good. I'll see you there.
Yep.
Dana says she'll be there. Awesome.
Nice.
I can't go, but I am going to do the online thing. Yeah.
Cool.
We'll keep you there in spirit, Darren.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope it goes well. I'm sure it will again.
Excellent. And I'm teaching a couple of classes for the virtual. So if you go on there, there's going to be at least, I think, 2 classes, like official classes, and then there's going to be one extra bonus video in our virtual booth that I'm teaching as well. So, and then I think during the live portion, Lori's going to be doing a webinar, and then we're going to have, I think, an open virtual room most of the day. Like when the actual trade show floor is open, you'll be able to go in and be online and interact with Lori and Tracy and I think a couple other people. So awesome. Let's go ahead and pop back over to the browser here for just a second. Lori, did you have another question?
That was it.
Okay. So here is that post. It's finally been approved and we can take a look at it. And we can see that the event date kept our 1930s format. If I'd added in any additional information up here, that would have been posted, and it's automatically attached to my grandma with that face tag. It really couldn't be easier. It's really amazing, and it's a lot of fun to do this. And I love being able to share these things with my friends and family. So, all right. So question here, what is this that you're talking about? So I'm thinking that's probably a question about Roots Tech. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Roots Tech, it is a massive conference that takes place in Salt Lake City every year. And it's put on by the Church of Latter-day Saints, but you don't have to be LDS to come to this conference. It is about family history and genealogy, and people from all over the world come to this event. And then they also have a massive online portion, so you can register for the online conference, or you can come do in person, or you can do some combination of both. Mylio is one of the big sponsors, so we're going to have a big booth at the conference floor, the showroom floor. And then we're also going to have a presence in the virtual conference as well. Thanks, Lori, for posting that. And Yolanda, thank you for correcting my name of the church. I apologize. All right. Well, any other questions today?
Sorry,
Alright.
it's me again. Sorry, it's
Yeah,
me
sure.
again. More about the vaults. I know we talk. I hit the capacity for the 2 vaults that I had, and I've created a third one on my NAS, but they were 6 terabyte. So I've had 2. That's why I can't fly out, because I'll be spending. I've just spent 4,000 on some new drives, 12 terabyte drives for my NAS, and some SSD, and another external 12 terabytes. So I migrated across. There were 431 images,
Mhm.
and of that, there's 83 they're not lost. They just keep coming up as they can't sync. Now I had a bit of a look, and I thought, I think it's because they're not. I still got the source, of course, but where do I put the sources back into? I put it into Lost and Found and thought it would be added that way, but it's now added an additional. Do I actually have to go into the original location and put them in there? Or do I
So
import
you
those
shouldn't have to.
individually?
If you should just be able to pull those from one of your existing vaults. If they're
Yeah.
are they still on those vaults?
Yeah, well, they should be, yes, and I think they are, but it just doesn't want to add them to the new 12 terabyte drive.
So what
So
you might want to
it's
do with the
been,
old vaults, if one of them or both of them are full, like the storage is full,
yeah,
what you might want to do is change the sync policy on one of those to be maybe change it to space save or something else.
yes, yes,
And that'll stop it from trying to sync everything to it and should force things to sync back up. You shouldn't have to manually re-add those files if Mylio is already aware of them, is just looking for those originals.
yeah. I've spent a few months now resorting all of that after I had some earlier issues and stopped a process, orphaned processes, or what I think it's what it's called.
Yep.
Yeah, with help from the support desk, which was amazing. Yeah, real quick and so helpful. Okay, I'll have a look at doing that
Okay.
later tonight then. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Let's see here.
One more question, Edie.
Let's see. Are you able to show an example of uploading a photo that has more than just your grandma? So just to show if you're adding a picture with grandma and her siblings, how that it would add the same picture to the siblings' profiles as well. It should do that. Let me see what I've got here. So let me go back and let's grab one of these. So this image here, this is again my grandma here in the middle and then her parents. I've got everybody tagged here. So let me go ahead and make sure I've got the FamilySearch ID in here for everyone. So I do for great grandpa. Let's see, I've got hers in here too. Okay, so I have the FamilySearch ID in there for each one of them. And I have, thankfully, because this is imprinted with my year and month, I was able to pop that here into my month and year date. Again, I'm going to guess this was captured in Chicago because, again, that's where my grandma was when she was young. So we can go ahead and add that information here. Type that in there. There we go, Chicago, Illinois. Grab that and drag that onto the map. And place that where we want it. Perfect. And again, I want to go ahead and just take that address out of there because that's not pertinent to our information. There we go. So we've got some good information in there. And again, we can say post memories to FamilySearch. I'll click post. And once you're logged in during the same session, kind of like when you log into a web page, I can do several images at once. Like if it's kind of sitting here in the same session, I don't need to log in. But if I go away for a few hours and come back, I will have to log into that website again. So that's the way it works with FamilySearch as well. So let's see here. Go ahead and jump back over here to Safari and go back here to my grandma. And we can see that this picture is processing. So it's going to take a moment for us to be able to see that and see that everybody's tagged. But that's kind of the same thing here that happened with my two grandmothers here. So Yolanda said, I just tried to add a photo into my FamilySearch account and it did not work. I didn't find the photo in the intended person's memories. What did I do wrong? You'll want to make sure that before you send it to FamilySearch that you have the FamilySearch ID also entered in Mylio. So this is a critical step here. So you have to make sure you have this here, whether you copy and paste it from FamilySearch manually into this field, or you use the choose FamilySearch contact button. You have to have that FamilySearch ID in order for it to automatically attach to the right person in FamilySearch. Let's go ahead and refresh this, see if this is going to let us do this yet. There we go. Like I said, usually it's pretty quick. And it is attached to all the right people, which is pretty cool.
And then does that mean if I went to the other people, it's going to show that picture in theirs as well? So not, and my
Correct.
question was, not only is it attached their names, but now we can go to them and there's that picture?
Correct. So yeah, I'm here in my great grandfather, going to memories, and there's the pictures I have that have
This
him in
is so cool.
it.
I went to
I
Roots
agree.
Tech last year and it was so amazing. And this is how I found out about you guys. Mylio was Roots Tech. And so I've been on
Excellent.
it for a year. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, and we've done a lot in the last year to make
Yeah.
FamilySearch integration happen and make it even more powerful for people who are working on
Way
family
more
history projects.
powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, and more to come.
Awesome.
One thing that I think a lot of you will be actually really excited to hear is in our next release, which should be out before Roots Tech, no promises, but it's looking very likely, is we're going to have 5 new name fields here inside of Mylio. Now, these don't necessarily translate to FamilySearch because FamilySearch wants, like, especially with women, they want the maiden name.
Oh,
But
right.
for your own personal records, we're going to have a nickname field, a maiden name field. I believe a prefix, at least a suffix, maybe a prefix as well.
Oh,
So
this is amazing.
yes,
Okay.
I'm very excited.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Because what I've been doing is, like, let me go back here to my grandmother, is I put maiden names in parentheses. And I think middle names will still be within first name, but yeah, we've got 5 new name fields coming. So
Oh, good. Okay, thank you.
you're very welcome. Let's see, can you have an anniversary date? Absolutely. All you need to do is go ahead and click that plus button. Click on the date you want to add. Here's a marriage date. Or if you have some other special kind of date that you want to add, you can add a custom date and add those in there as well. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, there's one from Yolanda saying that her info screen does not offer her the FamilySearch ID field.
Okay, so what you're seeing there is what you need to do first. I guess I should have mentioned this as well. So in this next update, the family history panel over here is going to be the default. For right now, what you need to do is go up here to the More menu and turn on family history. So that's going to be from right here. So if I turn that off, that's going to remove that FamilySearch ID field. If you don't have that on, so go ahead and turn that on and you should be able to enter that FamilySearch ID. And one other thing, if you're not seeing that option, make sure you're running the most recent version of Mylio.
You see how you have the undated, like you just pointed to this undated thing where it shows the squiggly lines on the pictures?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How comes that doesn't take it out of wherever it was in like your photos, like all photos or calendar photos? How comes it doesn't move it to the undated and it still shows it, randomly you'll get a picture in the wrong place?
Yeah,
So,
it's a bug and it's something that we're aware of. Hopefully
oh,
that'll
okay,
get fixed
okay,
soon.
good.
One thing I have found that I don't want to call it a fix, 'cause it's not a fix, but it's kind of a
Mhm.
workaround. If I go to this image and take it and make it a timestamp and change the timestamp to something else, and then go back and move it to undated, then it drops it to the bottom of the list.
Really?
It's a quirky thing.
But
Sometimes
if it's going to be fixed, I don't have to worry about it, right?
yeah, it's nothing you have to worry about. It doesn't change anything with your metadata. It's just how it's being viewed in Mylio.
Oh, okay.
So can you do a quick search then for all undated photos so you could like flag them yellow so you know have to
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
deal with them later or something?
Yeah, so actually the best way to do that is to go in here to your calendar view and
Uh-huh.
scroll all the way to the top. There's all your undated.
Oh,
So I kind of consider that my to-do list. So there you go. That's the best way to find those. And then from there, if you wanted to have them all be yellow or whatever flag you want to do, you can just do a Command or Control A or right click, select all, and then go over to your rating and tagging and add whatever color label you wanted.
okay. Well, I wanted to flag it yellow because isn't there already a quick darn it, what do you call it?
Quick collection.
A quick filter for review for cleanup or need to organize or something.
Yeah, but that's not going to necessarily handle, so your color labels aren't going to necessarily impact that.
Oh, so
So-
if I add something and tag it as a yellow tag on an image, it's not going to be added to that review for cleanup. So your quick collections are based on other parameters.
Well, so, okay, wait, go ahead and say review for cleanup.
Yeah.
So it's going to say right up here, what is included. Everything that has a -1 flag, which is a reject flag, or a rating of 1 or 2 stars.
Okay.
So that's what that's going to pull in.
So you'd have to create your own custom filter with yellow.
Yeah,
fields.
or you could use one of these. So you could say everything I've rated 2 stars is something that I need to address. And then it would pop in here. But you could also create one for just, everything that has, so by rating label and smart tag, you can say yellow, and then save this as a new quick collection and call this undated things I need to review, or whatever you want to call it.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Great question.
Just a quick thing, quick thing there, Angela. I
Mhm.
remember last year we went over the tagging, and I ended up generating or creating a key, sorry, to what my different tag numbers, stars, and the colors and so on meant. Just because if I didn't get back to it, I'd forget what I'd said. So I found that really helpful. And
Yes.
yeah, there are very many reasons why I use the different ones when I'm going through, because you don't go through a whole batch at a time sometimes.
Yeah.
So I found it really helpful to go back to my key that I have as a note, and I just pull that up. Yeah, great.
Absolutely. That's a great tip.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Yolanda said it's turned on and I still don't show the ID field. The only other thing I can think of here, Yolanda, is if you're looking at, say you're in a person's collection, and over here right now on the right, I'm seeing, because I have a picture selected, I'm seeing the fields for that particular picture. If I want to see the fields about that person, let me just right click on this and say select none. Then that switches me over to these fields where I can find all of the first name, last name. And if you scroll down here under the family search category, so that might be collapsed, then you can go ahead and enter in that family search ID. And if that doesn't work, Yolanda, the other thing you can do is if you go to the top level of People View, so you can double click on the People View icon. There we go. And then just single click on somebody's name. Then you can go in and enter those fields as well. And again, you might need to expand that family search field right there. So your screen doesn't work like mine at all.
Angela, can I jump in here?
Yeah,
Would
of
it be
course.
possible that she's got an older version of Mylio Photos?
That's my thought. But I mean, if she
Yeah.
has the family history panel and that's not there, I don't think the family search ID was in there since we've had the family history panel. So,
Okay, she's
yeah, I'm not
updated.
sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yolanda, if it's okay, if you've had constant problems with Mylio, what I would recommend is reaching out to support. And they can definitely help you. So you'd go up here to the help menu and contact Mylio support right here, and they can walk you through what's going on. Let them know that you're not seeing the Family Search ID field and whatever other frustrations that you have had with Mylio. Feel free to, share what steps you've gone through, what's not working right, and they'll do their best to help you get through that. All right, hopefully it looks like Gloria's having some audio issues. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully everybody else is able to hear me all right. All right. Okay, well, it looks like I've gotten through all the questions that are in the chat. Is there anything else that I can help you guys with today? All right, well, I want to wish you guys a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you next week at my Q&A on Tuesday, and we'll have a coffee break again on Friday. So have a great weekend. Go out, take some photos, tell your friends and family about Mylio, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Lori, for your help.